and welcoming some folks who are just joining us for Shabbat. Great to have everyone here as we celebrate Shabbat together. We are going to begin sharing the screen in just a moment. We have already pushed to YouTube, and so can begin to enjoy Shabbat together.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim gam yachad. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker, baboker chasdecha ve'emunatecha baleilot, baleilot. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Bechinor. Join with me. Tov lehodot ladonai, ulezamer lishimcha elyon. Tov lehodot ladonai, ulezamer lishimcha elyon.
Let's read responsively this opening reflection. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. Together, on Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder for the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So let's embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We now continue with our Shabbat candlelighting and Kiddush. We call to unmute George and Irene Rodnitsky, who are going to lead us in our candlelighting and Kiddush, and they are celebrating their 32nd anniversary tonight with us. So mazel tov to George and Irene on this sacred moment. I think you're still muted, guys. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
The seventh day is consecrated to the eternal our God. With wine, our symbol of joy, we celebrate this day in its holiness. We give thanks for all our blessings, for life and health, for work and rest, for home and love and friendship. On Shabbat, eternal sign of creation, we remember that we are created in the divine image. We therefore raise the cup in thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat. Amen.
L'chaim.
Hi.
And once again, mazel tov, all good things.
Thank you.
Let's continue now as we welcome Shabbat with Lecha Dodi.
Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela, la 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 la. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmianu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, L'shem tiferet v'liti la 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 la, Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela, la 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 la, Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, Mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava tchila la 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 la. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela, la 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 la. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Hit oreri, ki ba'orei kumi ori, uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 la. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela, la 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 la. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom aterebala, Gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, Tov emunei am seula. Boi chala, Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela, la 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 la. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela.
An artist cannot be continually wielding a brush. Artists must stop at times in their painting to freshen their vision of the object, the meaning of which they wish to express on the canvas. Living is also an art. We dare not become absorbed in its technical processes and lose our consciousness of its general plan. Shabbat represents those moments in which we pause in our brushwork to renew our vision of this object. Having done so, we take ourselves to our painting with clarified vision and renewed energy. This applies to the individual and to the community alike. Let's rise in body or spirit for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Yada die die die, 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 yada die die die. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Leolam Va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai. 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 I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. כשאני רואה בחלוני את שמוריק לך וגם לי, אני שר לעצמי, איזה אחלה עולם. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. והיום כל יפה וקל לי כל כך לומר שאני אוהב אותך. השמיים חולים, ענן הוא לבן, והבוקר בהיר, ובלילה עשן, ואחלום לעצמי, איזה אחלה עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 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 ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. Together, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. One of the highlights of this past year was welcoming Cantor Orangel into our community with a really beautiful installation service. And so we thought it was only fitting that as we end sort of this part of our year and going into our next year as a congregation, that we include this beautiful rendition of Mi Chamocha, sung by the Cantor and of course Cantor Osborne, a piece that was specifically created for Cantor Orangel for this sacred moment. And I know our community has really enjoyed it so much.
Micha
understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Ve'amidenu, Shomrenu lechayim. Ufros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Let's now continue with the Amidah HaTefillah. Please rise in body or spirit.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekoenei Hakol, Bezocher Chaste Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atar rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishene afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukdoshim B'chol Yom Yehallelu Chasala, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise.
Whoa, whoa, right here, right now. Whoa, whoa, right here, right now. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu. I will give thanks for our board. Ovation they've earned, their leadership soaring to help us return. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu. I will give thanks for my home. It's where I reflect. Temple Bnei Israel. Time to reconnect. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu. I will give thanks TBI, the lows and the highs. Modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך. Whoa, whoa, right here, right now. Whoa, whoa, right here, right now. As many of you heard earlier, the team of musicians has been growing throughout the year and will continue to grow. And I've been so grateful for the incredible musical talents of Jennifer Allen, who takes us back to the desert that we might find our inner peace in this rendition of Shalom Rav.
Our thoughts now turn to our loved ones and members of our community who are in need of healing. Whether they are in need of physical, mental, or spiritual healing, we take them into our hearts at this time of prayer. If you'd like to mention the name of someone you are thinking of at this moment who is in need of healing, please mention their name in our chat window so we can lift them up in prayer. Let's now join together with Misha Berach, our prayer for healing.
Misheberach Avotenu Mikor habracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
We are thinking of and wishing a refuah shlema to Evan Bin, Joe Brickman, Joel Broida, Laura Carlos, John Conway, Mark Edelstein, Benjamin Edelstein, Brian Edelstein, Danielle Heyman Feist, Linda Fine, Eric Fisk, Iris Fisk, Robert Gold, Buddy Green, Vicky Hano, Clay Ispitz, Louis Ispitz, Richard Castell, Lori Cattleman, Jerry Klein and Bonnie Brzezowski, Hank Corin, Wendy Sugarman Krasnoff, Stephen Levine, Dr. Sonia Link, Elsa Mikosh, John Parsonson, Bob Pizzuti, Ruth Polar, Victoria Richards, Jane Rifkin, Jess Rifkin, Don Rolander, Rhoda Ross, Liesel Schick, Bob Seiler, Dr. Cindy Steinman, Pete Tanner, and Hillary Weinberg.
Misheberach Imotenu Mikor habracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hopefully, by now, you have all heard the news that this upcoming year, our synagogue's vision will be guided by 3 words: return, reconnect, re-energize. If not, I promise you, you will hear it again and again and again and even again. It expresses our desire to return to our synagogue grounds and rhythms, to reconnect to each other through programming and meaningful conversation, and to re-energize ourselves through dynamic and innovative programming. In that spirit, instead of a sermon this Shabbat, I'd like to share with you one of my favorite stories that, for me, illustrates this idea of return, reconnect, and re-energize. I hope you'll enjoy. Once upon a time, as all stories go, there was a man who had grown very unhappy with his life. He found no joy in his work, no joy in his community, no joy in his family. So he cried out, "Dear God, please take me to paradise. I'm ready to go on to the next life and leave this one behind." God said to him, "Are you sure you're really ready?" And the man said, "I'm so unhappy in this life. There is no joy. There's nothing for me here. I'm ready to go to paradise where there will be great joy." And God said, "Okay, but you should know, once you go to paradise, there is no going home again." The man said, "Yes, that's fine. That's what I want." God said, "Well, you're in luck, because paradise is only about a 2 days journey from here. The man's heart swells. He's so excited. He packs up a few things for his journey, gets up the next morning, and leaves everything behind. And he sets off towards paradise. He walks for a day, admiring the beautiful landscapes he sees all around him, all the wonderful gifts that God has put in the world, dreaming of paradise, which he will approach soon. At the end of the first day, it begins to go dark, and the man is tired. He thinks it's time for him to lay down to sleep. He finds a tree on the side of the road. He goes to lie down, but before he falls asleep, he thinks to himself, well, this is a new land, a new part of the world I've never seen. What if I wake up confused about where I'm going? I definitely don't want to head home. I want to make sure I go to paradise. So I will take off my shoes and I will put them toes pointing in the direction that I am headed. Paradise. He takes off his shoes, he puts them on the road, toes pointing forward, and he falls into a deep sleep. Well, as things sometimes go, we don't really know what happened next. Perhaps some mischievous passers-by, or maybe some creatures from the forest came and were playing, or perhaps an angel. But the man's shoes got turned around. He woke up in the morning rested from a beautiful sleep, with dreams of paradise, and he slips his feet into his shoes, toes pointing, he thinks, towards paradise, but really towards home. And he sets off, heart full, to continue his journey to paradise. While he walks almost another full day and as darkness begins to descend, he gets to the top of a hill and looks down onto a valley, and he sees a gleaming village, and his heart leaps. He can't believe it. He has made it to paradise. He runs down the hill, runs to the center of the village, and it's the most beautiful thing that he'd ever seen. It is so clean, so bright. He sits weary from his journey in the town square and just watches people finishing their workday, smiling, full of joy and laughter. He remembers his village, where he came from, and people were always so unhappy, so tired at the end of the day. He sees children finishing school, playing in the streets, beginning to head home for dinner, and he revels in their joy. The children in his village were just loud and noisy. And as he sits there, he thinks, I'm rather hungry. I wonder how a person eats in paradise. Maybe there's a street that looks just like mine in paradise. Let's investigate. And he walks towards where his street might have been. And sure enough, there's a street in that village. It looks awful like his street from his village. He walks down the street, and there's a house that looks an awful lot like his house. It's rather comforting. He thinks it was such a good planning on God's part to make paradise look just like his village. And as he's standing looking at the house, the door opens, and a woman comes out. She looks an awful lot like his wife. She looks at him and says, "New? You coming in for supper?" He says, "Well, it's so wonderful. This strange woman wants to feed me. I guess I'll go in and have some soup." He sits down at the table. She puts a bowl of soup in front of him. It's the most delicious soup he had ever seen and that he'd ever tasted. He looks around the room. It's so warm, so cozy, so inviting. His house where he was with his wife was just cluttered and crowded and cramped. And the soup is just so delicious. He tells her how wonderful it is. And she looks at him askance and says, "I don't know about the soup, but it's time for bed." He says, "Oh, I guess this is where I'm supposed to sleep in paradise." And he goes to bed and falls into a deep, relaxing, nourishing sleep. When he wakes up in the morning, he comes down and sees this woman again, who looks an awful lot like his wife, and she hands him some tools. Go to work, she says. Well, he thinks to himself, you have to work in paradise? Okay, maybe there are lots of things to do, but God knows best. And he heads off to work. But this work was not at all like the work he did back in his village, which was meaningless and not full of any joy. Here, the work helps him feel fulfilled, like he is contributing to the community, and he has a sense of purpose and vigor. He comes home at the end of the day to this house that looks just like his house, this woman who looks just like his wife, and she again puts soup in front of him, and it's so delicious, and he goes back to sleep. Every day from then on to him is a joy. Every day of paradise is like waking up anew, giving back to his community, celebrating with the people in this beautiful, clean town, and learning to enjoy being with this woman, remarkably like his wife. Every day he continues on this way until his very last day. But there was never, ever a single person who could ever convince him that this was not truly paradise. My friends, may this year be a year of returning, reconnecting, and re-energizing, and may it be for all of us just a little slice of paradise. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Let's continue now with our service with Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. We're observing the Shiva period for the memory of Adele Daniels, mother of Scott Daniels, mother-in-law of Marcy Daniels, grandmother of Jillian and Rachel. And we send our condolences to Scott and Marcy and the family on this very sad time in their lives. We're in the Shloshim period for the memory of Beverly Rosen, wife of Mel, mother of Dan Rosen, spouse Melissa, and proud grandmother of Braden and Peyton. And we're also observing the Shloshim period for the memory of Judy Fine, wife of Frank Fine, proud mother of Rachel Wilson, and Rachel's spouse is Richard, grandmother to Billy and Cash. We also think of those who died in the past year. Sheldon Ginsberg, Larry Krug, Gene Weissman, Jack Moshbitz, Jerry Bender, Solomon Bloom, Max Schmid, Louis Lederer, Deborah Nader, Ted Ross, Helen Roth, Ruth Jean Oberlander, Mark Enfinger, Alan Beer, Judy Guy Strickland, Carolee Pizzuti, Elaine Miller. And we think of those who died at the season in years past and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Observing the yahrzeit this week for Celia Applebaum, Ben Barron, Sheila Toby B. Basil, William Bass, Louis Bernstein, Ruth Brecher, Tobias Bromberg, Sylvester Colby, Nettie Edgar, Paul Falk, Miriam Fine, Michael Foreman, Beatrice Garfus, Riva Gelb, Ida E. Gordon, Sidney Daniel Gorman, Miriam Graber, Ida E. Green, Nathaniel T. Harris, Harry Harrison, Ida Haim, Marjorie Peshkin Hirsch, David Hershoren, Marjorie Last Johns, Faye Joseph Ronald Casper Arnis Casper, Lucille Leichter, William Levin, Daniel Morris, Erwin Jack Nathanson, Stella Robinson, Adele Rocker, Stephen Rosenfeld, Max Rubin, Howard Rubin, Howard Rubin, Alfred Schick, Henry Singer, Etta Stein, Louis J. Stern, Boris Tenenbaum, Alfred M. Ullman, and Jerome A. Waterman. We also take into our hearts those who lost their lives in that tragic accident in Israel on Lag BaOmer, where 45 people were unfortunately stampeded during the celebration of this festival holiday on Mount Meron in northern Israel. And so we send our condolences to all who lost loved ones in that tragic accident. We continue as we say, the memories of all of them are with us. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we praise God's name and affirm the holiness of memory. We now continue with the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal, v'yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ba'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'galav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Olmei Olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitnuman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha Barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata da'amiran b'yama v'imru amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, and to the entire world. As together we say, amen. Now I'd like to invite our temple president, Nina Warshawski, to unmute and give us a few synagogue announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi Lobel. Well, frankly, you guys heard everything I had to say today, so I don't really have anything, except I look forward to seeing you guys in 3D next Friday at 7 o'clock at Temple B'nai Israel. So Shabbat Shalom and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, Nina.
All right. I imagine we've got some cookies. I see one in Heather's screen. Let's see. Well, oh, we've got some treats at the Dabowski's house. We're figuring out where we want to go for Oneg. All right, we've got some good stuff going. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to let you enjoy the rest of your evening. It's, again, been wonderful being all together for Shabbat. And let's have a nice, restful weekend. And we'll catch you all sooner than later next week at the sanctuary.